Howdy folks, welcome to Did You Pack Snacks, a family travel podcast. My name is Colin.
And I'm Meg.
And together we chat about all things high, all things low, all the long miles in between. But right now, we just want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
This is the best time of year.
It really is. There's no other time except for my birthday that it's just fun all month.
Agreed. I mean, but I feel that way about my birthday, not yours.
No, we're birthday month people. I fully embrace it, except it's been a drag. Our daughter, December is also her birthday. So December plus Christmas, it's a lot.
We have a lot going on. And I just am kind of like everyone else. I feel like everyone else is like this too, that I just want to embrace the holidays. So we've just got things going on.
We got things.
Crafts to do, things to bake, movies to watch.
I mean, your parents just sent us some cookies and my mouth tastes like butterscotch blondie.
Which might be our new favorite thing ever.
It's up there with sticky toffee pudding. Like, it's better than any cake, better than any pie. If you want to really love someone this Christmas, get them a Mrs. Fields butterscotch blondie. You're welcome.
You're welcome. So we just got back from spending a month in Asia. And I mean, just got back. Today's probably the first day that we didn't wake up at 3 a.m. due to jet lag.
No.
We are
6:45.
Yeah, we're back, everybody.
We're back in our guest bedroom. A studio. What was I saying? But yeah, we're back in the swing of things. We're back into that American busyness.
Yeah, and let's talk about some things because that journey home was something.
Yeah.
It was something.
We're never doing that again.
I never want to do that again.
Lesson learned.
And this is the lesson, everyone. We booked round trip tickets to Bali in order to see Malaysia, go on an adventure, all of those things.
It was a positioning flight.
And it was a good deal. And so in the moment of a good deal, you think, oh, a 15-hour flight, we got that.
Right.
But I think the reality of a 15-hour flight, don't get me wrong, the girls did amazing.
Again, you're rounding down. It's 15:45.
Okay, a 16-hour flight. The reality of that, the girls did amazing. It wasn't them that makes me want to reconsider this ever happening again.
No.
It's that it was a mental battle for me.
It's the people around you.
You are committed. The people behind you, in front of you, next to you. If you're not jiving with one of those people, too bad.
No.
And let's just say I want to just explain my scenario. The people behind me, they just were loud and a little bit sick and were like hawking loogies. Like it was that kind of like I wanted to crawl into my seat and just die.
All guards were down.
And then it was just, anyway, all that to say, we don't have to talk about my plane partners, plane neighbors.
Hawking loogies.
But I do think that there's a mental...
That's the weirdest phrase ever. And the grossest.
Hawking, yeah, it's not that great. But there is a mental challenge that happens when you are sitting in that seat and you know, this is my reality for 16 hours. Help.
Right.
I even tried to think about ways to get out of it because I watched a rom-com on one of our other flights where the guy got to move to first class because his TV...
What's it called? It's on Netflix, Love at First Sight.
I think it's Love at First Sight.
Please watch it. It's starring Haley Lou Richardson.
But he got to move seats from economy to first class, which, you know, this is a rom-com.
Only happens in a rom-com.
But it's because his TV didn't come on. So he had to move seats.
No, his seatbelt didn't work.
Oh, his seatbelt didn't work.
Spoiler alert, his seatbelt didn't work.
So I'm sitting there while the gentleman behind me is making all kinds of bodily function noises. And I'm thinking, how do I change my reality? How can Megan Mukri get out of this?
Did you try to break your seat?
I was like, well, maybe something won't work.
Yeah.
But everything worked. And so I just settled in. And I will say, the way that we're going to edit this is next time we go to Asia, we just want to do a layover in Europe. We want to do like a 7-8 hour flight.
Yeah.
Get off the plane or the Middle East.
We want to go to Turkey. We want to go to Abu Dhabi, Dubai.
Go somewhere, get off the plane.
Oh.
And then...
2 nights.
Or even, I don't even care. It can just be a layover.
Like, just need to break it up.
But just so my plane neighbors change.
Right.
So I'm only mentally committing to my community for 9 hours. Then I know it's going to change.
We can do that.
That's what I want to do next time.
Or the other addendum is if it's like too good of a flight deal, we said we wanted noise canceling headphones.
Yeah, I did. I said, you're never getting me on a plane this long without.
Right.
And why don't I own them?
I don't know.
I think I might have even said before, honestly.
Yeah.
I think I've even said before they're unnecessary.
I know, but now they are.
They're not unnecessary.
No,
they are an essential travel. In fact, I'd love for them to come under the tree. This is just letting you know what's on my mind. There's a lot of sales going on, Colin.
Coming from Asia, I got home and I said, Megan, I just want a bidet for Christmas.
A bidet.
And let's be honest, we both miss it. We already ordered it, but it's doing that thing like where it says it's running late on Amazon.
Oh yeah, we might as well.
That's the worst.
That is the worst. So you want a bidet, I want noise canceling headphones.
Very big price disparity there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But we are home. It's great to be home. I will say when we finally, we drove from the airport to get here, we got through the door and it just, I will say this too, I'm going to brag on myself.
Brag on November, Megan.
I walked around and I was like, dang, November Megan was stressed, but she did a dang good job because our house was decorated for Christmas. I immediately went and plugged in that beautiful Christmas tree.
That was the first thing we did.
And then I walked around. All the beds were made.
Wow.
The kitchen was clean.
Yeah.
I just walked around smiling because I had no memory
of
that reality.
But how quickly did we tear this place up?
Well, we tore it up. But that initial moment of getting home to a clean house, I'm like, man, that's worth all the stress. That leaving and feeling like, oh, there's a to-do list a mile long. I got to pack. I got to clean. I got to put up the tree. And I'm just like, man, November, Megan, I wish I could give you a hug. You did a great job.
You were beaming.
Yeah.
Well, today we don't really have an agenda. Spoiler alert. We just wanted to kind of recap what has happened in 2023. A lot of good things, the lows, the numbers, which is shocking.
This is like our year in review because this is going to be our last episode for 2023.
Womp womp.
We're going to take the next 2 or 3 weeks off to dream and plan, and then we're coming back at you the first Wednesday of January.
March. Just kidding.
Of March. No, the first Wednesday of January, we'll be back. So this is our year in review, our recap for everything that we've done this year.
But not like the boring kind. Not your church deacon meeting. This is like
we've got
fun.
Stories. Yes.
Yeah, we're doing this fun way. So I'm just going to start with our year in numbers. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
For a traveling family, this is our thing, right? Our niche, as they say. I don't think it's a lot, but if you think about the effort it takes, we went to 8 countries this year.
That is a lot.
It's a lot. I mean, our goal is to hit 50 countries. We ended the year at 32.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Right?
Let's say it again.
That's a lot. And let's list them out. We went to Mexico. We went to Ireland. It's debatable. People say Northern Ireland isn't one, but I'm counting it.
It's Northern Ireland.
We went to the Netherlands. We went to Belgium. We then went to the Faroe Islands. We went to we're not counting Iceland.
Well, because we've already been
there. Mm-hmm. And then we went to Indonesia and Hong Kong. So that's a lot.
Let's say it again. That's a lot.
Well, folks, and we learned a lot in all those countries. And we learned a lot about flying in airplanes because we took 25 flights this year.
That's wild.
And when I say we, I mean that's kids included. Livy, our little Livy that turned 5 this year, went on 25 flights. Some of those,
no, 2 of them being 16 hours long.
Right. Which is amazing. And let this be of assurance to you folks, like our kids they're not like gifted at traveling.
No.
I will say, like, if you're nervous about bringing your kid on a plane, the problem is you.
The problem is you.
I mean, your kids are going to be fine as long as you feed them. Well, that's a big, like, asterisk. Gotta feed them.
You gotta feed them. You gotta have things for them to do.
Right. But they're fairly low maintenance.
Yeah.
Like they're not.
Especially the age of our kids. They just turned 5 and 7.
Yeah.
Like we're entering those years where it's just like they're kids. You know, that's completely different. I don't want to compare to somebody traveling with toddlers.
Yeah.
You know.
But again, like even if you are going on with an infant, with a toddler, like yes, like it may be challenging, but I feel like one of the biggest hurdles is the parent.
It is true. Like the things that you're stressed about, your expectations.
Right.
Yeah, those things are harder to navigate.
Anyways, parents, if you are traveling this Christmas, do not forget about yourself. Put on that oxygen mask before helping others.
Yeah, make sure you pack yourself snacks. Make sure you've got things for you to do. One of the things that I'm terrible at
downloading shows.
Is downloading shows for myself.
I'm like such a mom. I'm like, Megan, you better download shows.
And I got better at it at this trip because we went on like 12 flights just in the last month. But
and we downloaded all the Netflix Christmas
rom-coms.
Movies. Gosh, it's so good.
They're such an easy watch. But making sure that you have something for you to do, that you're going to have a good headspace going into the flight, that makes a big difference.
Yep. If you need recommendations, Love at First Sight was good. Catering Christmas was kind of simple but good. Did you watch anything else?
I don't remember. They all sound like Love at Christmas, Steal and Kiss at Christmas. Like I don't know. I don't know the rest of the names.
Anyways, we went on 25 flights. We went on 5 rental cars.
Okay.
Which I love. I love renting a car, and we're gonna get into this later. But I think in 2024. We're going to focus more on like things that we love. And I think road trips is going to be, you're going to hear us talk more about that.
Yeah, I think road trips are where we thrive.
Okay. This is the most impressive number. We stayed in 30 hotels / Airbnbs.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of places.
Check in and check out 30 times.
I wonder how many of those you got for free.
I would say 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50% with thanks to points and miles. But yeah, a lot of that, especially from our month in Asia. But yeah, 30 hotels and
That's Airbnbs. Amazing. I think one of my favorite things about staying in a hotel is we have this rhythm now. Like, you know, there's 4 of us in our family currently. And so we have an adult and a kid in each bed. Mm-hmm. And just like when we open the hotel door, it's like the girls run in, they get so excited to go and look at the bathroom and look at the view. And then we just have assumed this natural role of, all right, this is our bed, this is your bed. I guess it's just sweet to me that they're not, it's normal. By it. Yeah, they're not phased. Yeah, it's really normal. They're like, oh, this is where we're sleeping for the next night or 3. And they're just comfortable, and I love that.
I mean, they see it as a sleepover. Mm-hmm. And so it's fun. We like it. And if we're too tired, we'll get room service. Mm-hmm. You know, we've learned some things.
We're not only room service, but we're so bougie now that we'll get in there, count pillows, and immediately call the front desk. Hey, could you bring a couple extra pillows up to our room? Maybe an extra blanket?
Yes.
We're just so needy now. I mean,
right away. And I learned this past trip that like not all hotels are equal. We all know that. But then there's an extra level of like hotel category when you walk in and next on your nightstand, there's a pillow menu. And several hotels that we went to this past trip had that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is next level.
Which for anyone that's never seen a pillow menu, it just has to do with the weight, the softness or firmness of the pillow.
Yeah. So like the last one I ordered, I wanted 2 memory foam pillows for the head. I ordered a body pillow, or you can get a down feather pillow or just a down pillow, like all these kinds of pillows. Great pillows. This is an interesting one. I had 4 phone numbers this year.
Wow. Look at that.
And, you know, we usually just go like with roaming, or like I just turn on my data and like not think about it because it's too, like it's another thing to get data. And when I'm overseas, we've always had 2G speed, which is enough for Google Maps. And that has always like worked. But then I just felt like this year we had to step it up. Mm-hmm. And I gave it a try, and I'm never going back. I'm always getting a new number. I don't care if my phone turns green for all my friends at home. I don't care. I need the data. I need Google Maps. I need to have Spotify when we're in the rental car. Like, it makes a difference.
Which is also one of those things that we would recommend doing right when you arrive at your new destination. Like, you have that temptation just to get your stuff and get out of the airport. But it's always a good idea to maybe hang back and get some money exchanged, pull out some cash, because in some places, paying a taxi with cash is like really your only option, or just to have some on you.
Yeah.
That's also where you can get a local SIM card is in the airport before you leave.
So, and they're not expensive. Like, I've spent like $20 to $25 is what I would spend in like European countries. In Asia, it was like $7 and I had data for like 3 weeks. So, yeah, all that stuff. Okay, this is a fun one. We had 5 wild animal sightings and like charismatic animals. So first we saw the largest puffin colony in the world. I thought it was just Iceland. And then when I went back and I was editing, it's the world.
That's amazing.
And so
it was amazing.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. Highly recommended. If you ever go into Iceland, do not skip out on the puffin colony. We'll tell you all about it. Just DM us. Next one, we saw the bottlenose whale in Faroe Islands. We saw 3 of them. They were super friendly, did some tricks for us. It was amazing. I swam with turtles, Shar and I did, in Mexico, which was so cool that like, it's like almost guaranteed that if you go to this bay, you're gonna swim with them.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, that was cool. We saw lots of baby sheep.
Which is funny that this made the epic list.
Oh, I mean, it's epic.
But they were baby sheep in Ireland.
Right.
That maybe adds to like the charm.
Yeah. So like go in like March, go in April. That's like the baby sheep season. It's a little muddy, maybe a little gloomy, but get the right clothes and snuggle those baby sheep. This is an honorable mention, but we did see an Arctic fox in a random park in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Yeah, so not in the wild.
Not in the wild.
But it was cool to see up close.
Right, and these foxes change colors, brown, and then in the winter they're white. Anyways, that's really cool.
Those animals were exciting. I do think that I have some goals for 2024.
Okay.
Of animals that I want to see.
Like what?
Like I mean, maybe it won't happen next year, but in the next 2 years, I really want to go back on like a proper safari.
Yeah.
And see like... Because
I think we need to go to Africa in general.
Yes. Yeah. Charlotte's actually begging to go to Africa.
Yes.
She wants to go. And so I think it would be fun to go there. And I think seeing those animals in the wild with the ages of our kids now, because we brought Charlotte when she was a baby.
Yeah.
She didn't care.
Why did we do that? I mean, it's still worth it.
We did it for us.
Yeah, we did it for us.
But now I think it would be so epic. Like, I think that list is incredible. Honestly, my favorite was seeing all the puffins. That was just magical.
Yeah, that was.
But I do think there's something just so epic about seeing the African wild animals.
Yeah.
And so I would love to take the kids on safari. So that's on my dream list.
So any, safari expedition, any safari lodge out there, preferably with a pool, with giraffes coming in, at sunset. If y'all want to work with us, just send us an email.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, I want to go to somewhere in Africa. I want to go to Madagascar.
Oh, that would be cool.
It's the only place where you can see wild lemurs, and they have those cool trees. There's lots of things to go.
There's lots of places to go. Lots of things to see.
Okay. I heard someone said that, sometimes if you don't celebrate it, you're just going to miss it.
Mm-hmm.
I totally butchered that quote, but you get the idea. And this is one of those things where like Colin and Meg as a channel, as a podcast, as an Instagram account, like, these are kind of just some fun things that I just wanted to celebrate.
Okay. Like put like a little marker in. Say these are the things we can be proud of.
And to all you people that listen to this podcast, this one is for you, because we would not be doing this if people weren't listening and telling us that they listen, messaging us funny stories, chiming in. And we definitely want to see more of that. But our little podcast that I thought was only going to be 6 episodes, and that was going to be season 1, boom, a fun experiment. We are now, going on 20-something episodes, close to 30. And I just want to celebrate that when we got to episode 25 a couple of weeks ago, we had hit 10,000 plays.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just picture all those people. If we were in a room and we had, and I think that amounted to like 400 people listening every single week.
Yeah.
And I just put myself in a room in our guest bedroom, and there's 400 people here. Like, that is incredible. So thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, this is our favorite thing that we do. It's my favorite thing. Maybe I shouldn't speak for you.
No, it's mine.
I mean, the other things that we do, the videos and the photos and working with brands, I love all of that. But this feels the most authentically us because we're not working for anyone else. We're working for ourselves. We can share our opinions from our personal experience.
There's no ads. We're not making any money yet.
It just feels like the most authentic version of us, you know, kind of unfiltered, our real. And I love it so much. And I love getting to do it with you. Like, I just think it's the most fun thing that we get to do this together.
We plan out the podcast over lunch and then we hop on over to the studio.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, 10,000 plays. I don't know what 2024 will bring, but yeah, maybe we'll be able to do a live show. Maybe I want to see like guests calling in or sending more burning questions.
Yeah, we have a lot of dreams, and that's why we want to take the next couple weeks off, is because we really want to come back in 2024 with some more of those dreams becoming a reality for what these episodes can look like. But also, if you have an idea or if there are certain things that we talk about that you love, it would mean the world if you shot us a message and let us know what you wanted to hear more of as we're planning out for the next year.
Yeah. And on that note, don't forget those Apple Podcast reviews and follow us on Spotify. That really helps. The next one is our little YouTube channel. I want to just round up to 1 million, but I can't. But we hit 900,000 views.
That's a lot.
And, you know, I would say I love our videos. It's like it's like a family treasure. Like in 10 years, I'll be watching that boohoo crying all by myself. Send me a box of Kleenexes. But, you know, for those videos to make 900,000 views, it says a lot, I guess, about the longevity of these videos, you know? Yeah. Just want to celebrate that. Another
thing we're celebrating is our 4 partnerships. I would say they were our bigger partnerships this year, which was Dollywood, World Nomads, REI, and Visit Faroe Islands.
I know. Shout out to Dollywood.
Just for believing in us, inviting us to partner together and make content. I mean, 1, we wouldn't be a business without partnerships. But 2, it's always fun to connect with other companies and organizations that we just naturally love. Like, who would not want to work with Dollywood, World Nomads, REI, Visit Faroe Islands?
Yeah. Okay, next one, which is a unexpected one, but our photos were featured in a book. A traveling book, bucket list things to do with your family. I'm not even saying the title right, but our photos made it onto the book, and it's just, it's cool we'll leave the link in the description below, but to have these photos in a book on a coffee table, it's just, you know, the world needs more tangible things, and this is just one of those. Okay, and our last one, this is the best one. Kind of hilarious. We got a couple messages from people that said they saw us on HGTV, and I was like, well, can you please record it? Like, I don't know that I'm on HGTV. And basically, a photo that we've sold to like a stock photo company. Shout out to Unsplash. Was used in this commercial for it was called Skylight Frames. So you'll have to be on the lookout. If you see a Skylight Frame commercial, you'll see me and the girls pop up. It made me laugh so hard. Oh, man. Because a few people reached out and I was like, what are you talking about? And then they sent it to us and I just died laughing. The ad starts off with like, I always have the hardest time finding a perfect gift for mom. And there's a lady just there, frustrated. And then she opens up a Skylight Frame and then boom, there's a picture of Megan and the girls. And then they're like, Hallmark hugging, like, wow, this is the best gift ever. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's move on. That was fun to celebrate. I'm proud of us. Yay, round of applause. I really am proud of us because, you know, I think that it's easy. Yeah, I'm going to get serious for a second, but I do think that it's easy to have a big goal, right? You want to start a business. You want to write a book. You want to, insert your goal here. And it's easy to see other people maybe reach that goal in a different way, maybe faster,
maybe slower.
Yeah.
Maybe they did it in a way that's different from how you're doing it. And it's just easy to feel discouraged and to stop trying.
Yeah.
And I think I'm the most proud of us because we have figured out just like our voice and just found the things that we love about what we do. And we've just committed to keep going. And all of these things that we're celebrating and the things that we've become like even mildly successful in, it's because we didn't give up. You know, there are so many opportunities and so many nights that I'm like, let's just throw in the towel. Yeah. I mean, come on, let's just be done.
Yeah.
And I think just that, like you pulling that out of me to say, let's just keep going. Like we're only gonna succeed if we keep going and we keep putting effort towards this. So I think I'm the most proud of that. Just not giving up and continuing to put effort into something that brings us joy.
Yeah.
And that we get to do together as a family. I think that's really powerful.
And I want to say too, like, we don't really have like a succinct way to say like why we do what we do. Of course, we want to like provide for our family. Mm-hmm. You know, we want to have a family business. That's of course like one of our goals. But you know, a thing that we also want to do is like we want to flood this world with like content that is wholesome, that is good, that has meaning. You know, I think over time, like we want to have this overarching narrative of like the world is and can be a good place. The world can be your kids' playground and your classroom. It can be a way for families to make memories together. You know, when you're sitting around the table, you can talk about the people you met, the things you did, the jokes that you guys have created. Like these are all good things. And I want to see more bridges built between cultures. You know, a big reason why we went to Hong Kong and Bali was to take our kids to Asia, where life is done completely upside down. And I just wanted to see like their eyes get big, their brains expand, their hearts, you know, grow bigger to fit more people in, to relate to more people. And I want this for other families as well.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, how do you put that into one sentence? I don't know. But that is at the heart of what we do.
Yeah, I love that. And I agree.
Wow. Colin for president. Let's go. And now we will talk about some of the lessons we learned in travel that are hard, good, funny, maybe minor, but, you know, things we just learned that we're going to keep tweaking to make travel better. And then by learning all these things, we have to share with you. Megan, take it away.
I will say one thing that we learned is I do love a good like 18, 20-day trip. Like when we went to Mexico at the beginning of the year and we kind of rooted in one place and we took adventures on the weekends so that you could hold like work hours during the week and we could do homeschool. Yeah. I felt like that was I think we were there 18 days.
Yep.
And I feel like that was such a good amount of time. You know, we got back and I didn't feel like we'd missed out on too much here. But then while we were there, I felt like we got to go to the same restaurant more than once. Yeah. We got to visit the same beach more than once. And that just really felt like we got to experience a place, you know, not being full-time travelers right now. Yeah. I felt like that amount of time was kind of a sweet spot where when we just went to Asia, we were gone for closer to 30 days. And that felt like, though I loved everything that we did, and obviously that takes so much more effort to get to that side of the world, that you want to squeeze out as many days as you can. I felt like 30 days was like a hair too long.
Okay.
You know,
maybe like 20, maybe 24.
Okay. Maybe 24.
That's a sweet spot.
I just think learning, you know, what feels good in terms of lengths of these trips was something that I learned.
What about like shorter than that? Because some people can't do 18.
Well, I mean, if you just go on a week trip, I would say that try to zero in on like one country or one destination.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's definitely, I would never tell somebody, oh, you can't go for 2 weeks and you shouldn't go. No, most definitely go. But just try to build your itinerary in a way that you can truly experience the place that you're visiting rather than trying to squeeze in like layover trips and all that kind of stuff. You know, I wouldn't do that in a 7-day trip.
Even though we do that 90% of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. I want to like crush this like notion that when you're at a place, you have to see everything.
Yeah.
And you have to do everything. Like you're going to Scotland. well, you got to go do this, and see all of this.
And all of those places are like a 4-hour drive away from maybe where you're initially staying.
Yeah.
I do think social media does put this pressure
Yeah.
that if you visit a country, you have to do the entire checklist.
Yeah.
And I do think that can make you miss out on the things that you really want to do.
And we do that because, you know, we also see this as work. So sometimes we do make that extra drive. But we learn that when we do make decisions like that, we try to like have as much buffer. You know, we have some rest days or some down days, some slow mornings. But I would just say like the thing that makes a trip memorable, like when you try to squeeze out the essence of the time, like we were in Bali for 6 days, and the best time I had was the 30 minutes in the rice field talking to the lady that, you know, worked there. And like, because it was like, it wasn't on the agenda. It was like, we didn't say, let's go meet a local. Like, but when you do, like, just calm down and slow down and just enjoy like what is like literally in front of you. And it'll almost be like the best thing from the trip.
Yeah.
You know?
Another thing we learned, which we already hit on, is that we're going to limit 14, 15, 16-hour flights for the near future for the sake of us.
That's a high limit, Megan.
For the sake of my sanity.
Yeah. And health.
And
health. The amount of germs, you know?
Gosh. I mean, I will say, ever since the pandemic, when I get on a plane and the person behind me is coughing, it does kind of make me feel like, oh man, like I'm bummed.
I mean, you did move seats one time this whole trip.
Okay, we were on an AirAsia flight and we were sitting in the front row.
Not to discredit AirAsia.
No, I mean, they have no control over who their customers are.
It's a food court on the plane.
But this gentleman, I saw him before we boarded, and he looked a little bit like discolored, like pale and real sweaty.
Yeah. Have you ever seen an Asian pale? Never.
Okay.
Right.
But just that feeling, that look and that feeling that you have, like when you properly have the flu, you're a little bit clammy and whatever.
He was clammy.
That's the word. He was coughing, blowing his nose. His eyes looked watery. And I was like, that man is sick.
He's clammy.
Well, wouldn't you know it, that he sat right behind us on the plane. And here I am trying to keep my little girls healthy, and he's just coughing. He was wearing a mask, I will say that. But then he kept taking the mask off to cough or blow his nose. And there were just so many noises,
I think
you guys.
we can move on.
I know. Okay.
I'm feeling clammy.
So then we moved. We moved to the back row of the plane because
we were in row 1.
I just needed space from that gentleman.
Yeah.
And, you know, call me crazy. But 14-hour flights, we're not going to do them.
Okay, shorter flights, shorter layovers. Like, we're just going to be, like, we're going to up the bougie.
We're going to be a little more selective.
On travel days.
Yes.
You know? And then, can I just add on to that? Speaking of bougie, like, don't you just love lounge access?
I do.
Did I convert you this year?
Internationally, I love it.
Yes.
Stateside, it's not worth it.
No, it's a little tricky.
In my opinion.
Unless you're at certain airports, like, you know. Dallas, you're in Dallas or
LA.
Dallas or Denver or like, you know, certain ones. Yeah, certain ones. You got to be really specific. And if you have specific credit cards. But internationally, like the options are wide open. And I think I converted you.
Yeah, I had a great time at lounges on this trip.
Okay, great. Moving on. We are going to have a better emphasis on road trips in the future, you know, and I feel like we've talked, like if you heard all our episodes in the past, every single episode, we probably mentioned once or twice that we love road trips and that we don't love cities. And this morning, as I was preparing for this podcast, I said, why don't we just like do that more?
Yeah.
Like, let's go to places where we can get in a car and we can like, because sometimes, you know, traveling with kids, you just need to stop at the grocery store.
Yeah.
You need to stop at the gas station. You need to boost the morale. Or like you don't want to rely on a tour company. You want to get there at sunrise. Or you want to get there at sunset and stay as late as you want because your kids are playing with mud and rocks and sand. And you're like, I don't mind this car getting dirty. You know, there's snacks all over the car. And renting a car, road trips, that to me is travel magic. And I want to do more of that. I want to rely less on like public transportation, even though it's a great thing.
Yeah, I agree. I can see more road trips next year.
Yeah.
And then I also think another thing that we learned is that healthcare is everywhere.
Say that again.
Healthcare is everywhere. Just I shared on our last podcast, but we've had some experiences where we've had to take our kids to hospitals while we're traveling. And so now anytime they get a little bit sick, my mom radar just goes high. And I just tell myself this thought that they only can become well in the US. And that seems really silly for me to say out loud. And everyone's probably like, Megan, people live like everywhere in the world. Of course, there's access to healthcare everywhere. Mm-hmm. But I just think in my mom protective brain, it's something that I have to keep reminding myself. And then our experience on this trip is the girls did get a cold. And I did take them to the doctor, and the doctor had everything that they needed.
FDA approved too.
And the girls are fine. And so, I think that narrative, especially for me, is just something that I have to just, call out of myself and remind myself, and just sharing with you that granted, I know that there are specific things and illnesses or medications that are specific to the US that maybe do hinder travel for some people.
Sure, yeah.
But speaking from a family whose kids are generally healthy, it's just a good reminder to me that they can get what they need even when we're not home.
Yeah, well, I think to, not to discredit you, but I feel like you can separate like healthcare and like bedside manners. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like comfort. Like, will it be more comfortable in America to get your points across and have stronger communication? Yes, but
is it possible somewhere else? Yes, it just might be a
little more work maybe.
Yeah.
Or if it's not there, you can still rely on healthcare and medication, Mm-hmm. And so like at least that side of things it's taken care of.
Yeah. That was a lot. We've learned a lot. We've done a lot. This year's been great.
And what are you excited for 2024?
I don't know. I kind of want to keep a lot of it like to ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we're still mapping it out. We're still dreaming it up.
Right.
I do think there are going to be some surprises in there that people aren't expecting.
And it's not a new tattoo. Or a puppy.
Or a puppy.
Gosh, definitely not a puppy.
I don't think anybody would be surprised if we,
got a puppy?
No,
a tattoo?
No,
You don't want me to get a tattoo?
I mean that why would those updates be on our travel podcast?
Hey, the people want to know.
I will say that tomorrow Colin gets his blue passport, you guys. He swears in to be an American citizen by the time tomorrow.
By the time you listen to this podcast.
It's already happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be an American. Soy de Estados Unidos.
Yeah.
Yeah. 我是美国人.
So you spoke Spanish and Mandarin.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to throw in there?
Nope.
Honorary Malay.
Saya berasal dari Malaysia, tapi sekarang saya warga negara Amerika.
It's going to be a good day. So anyway, that's another thing that we can celebrate. Ending the year with 4 blue passports. Travel will never look the same.
Wow.
Because Colin gets pulled aside at every airport. He gets like...
Yeah. Every check-in at the kiosk, forget about it.
Yeah, they don't take his passport. Anyway, 2024 is going to be full of a lot of things. I'm crazy excited about it.
Yeah.
And we're excited to take you along for the journey.
I will say this. We said that we want to go on trips and experiences that we know we're going to love.
Yeah.
We're not just going to go to a random city just to check it off the list because someone said it was great. Like, expect more of things that Colin and Meg loves, and I hope that we can convince you that it's a great thing. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. But with all that said, still, don't forget to pack snacks.
Yeah, have a Merry Christmas, the best end of your year, do all of the traditions.
Butterscotch Blondie.
And don't forget about us. Circle back in January with the new podcast. We'll see you there.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.